scheduling conflicts and things of that nature, especially with the Bucks coming up here and their playoff run. We maybe some West Coast games as well where I'm just going to fly solo. No big deal. Ain't nothing but a thing to me. We're just going to roll through this and have some talk radio moments, shall we? So the Brewers fall 5-3. Some of the things I want to talk about today include D.L. Hall's misleading line. I thought he pitched pretty well today, and some folks are freaking out about his line. We'll break that down a little bit. Also want to talk about Pat Murphy's decisions on Hobie Milner and Bryce Wilson today. Maybe the offense in general, too. It's been a little bit of a slow start. And then finally, also want to talk about the fact that the Brewers bullpen as a whole is just kind of sort of trying to figure things out right now. So we'll get into all of that rolling on with the program. If you want to be involved with the program, the number is 855-616-1620. Again, 855-616-1620. Here in this first segment, though, let's go with the three most important plays of the game. And quite frankly, they were all late in this one. And it's an easy pick for the first one. Bryce Miller is out of the game finally. He was fantastic today. I can't wait to break down his start in this segment. Bryce Miller was great. Brewers really had a tough time with his splitter today. But he's finally out of the game after 7 innings. The Mariners are leading 4-0 at this point. Austin Voth is the pitcher. Bryce Terang, the first pitch he sees, he pulls a single through the right side, and the next batter was Jackson Churio.
This one hit in the air to left and deep. Get up! Get up! Get out of here and gone for Churio. And the Brewers have cut it in half on his second big league home run. He hit it out of here and left, and it's now a 4-2 game. Jackson Churio with a 2-run shot.
And that started the momentum finally in the Brewers' direction. In fact, the Mariners would need 3 different relievers to get all 3 outs in that 8th inning. Voth would face 2 more batters and allow a 1-out walk to William Contreras. That would end his day. Then they went left on left with Gabe Spire, which seemed to be the plan against Yelich because Spire was up as soon as the inning began. And he promptly walked the guy he was supposed to get on 4 pitches. So that was a massive play. But I loved what Willie Adames did, similar to last night's 9th inning. He stayed patient, didn't get too big on a 3-1 pitch. He draws the walk. That puts runners on first and loads the bases. And then Pat Murphy went to his bench. Rhys Hoskins had the day off. He was always available, trying to give him a day to get off of his feet. And Rhys almost delivered an incredible moment.
Here it is. Hit in the air. Left and deep. Warning track. Didn't get enough. 1 run's going to score. It'll make it 4-3 on a sac fly. Almost.
Almost indeed, as Bob Uecker called it here on WTMJ. With that swing from Rhys Hoskins, he hit it 99 off the bat. That's solid. Didn't quite get all of it, obviously, but that's still pretty darn solid. It was a 43-degree launch angle, so not very likely to get out of the yard, 322 feet, but it was a sac fly. And that made it a 1-run game. They went back to the bench for Joey Ortiz because Gabe Spire was still on the mound. Ortiz to hit for Bowers because left on left. If Bowers stayed in, they would have kept the lefty in. Bowers comes out, they bring in the righty, and that's exactly what happened. Thornton versus Ortiz, and Ortiz ended up grounding out. But really, in my opinion, the biggest moment of the game was in the top of the 9th inning with Luis Urias, old friend. Now he's a new foe at the plate.
Urias just lined one out of here, and Seattle right back at the crew. Yelich gave it a look, got to the warning track, and bye-bye.
Solo homer just broke all that momentum for the Brewers, and 5-3 would be the final today. So those are my 3 biggest plays from this one. Let's take a breather here and just also give some kudos, okay? Bryce Miller, that was disgusting. That was one of the, that was the top prospect version of Bryce Miller that we saw today. 7 great innings, 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. If you've been listening to me for a long time, you've heard me say that Brewers fans know what good pitching looks like and bad offense looks like. There's a difference, right? This was great pitching, and the Brewers being stymied by it. I thought Bryce Miller had excellent command all day. He only needed 78 pitches. He threw 53 strikes. Not a single inning went beyond 15 pitches. And you maybe think, well, Dom, they should work the count more. They should try to, be a little more creative. You can't do that when you keep falling behind. So let me just count this live with you. This is great radio, but let me just count it live. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 0-2 counts in the first 18 batters of the game. A third of the batters had an 0-2 count. You don't get a chance to breathe and say, oh, yeah, let's let him work. It's 0-2. There is no chance to work. He was fantastic. The splitter in particular, I was very impressed with. He threw a total of 20 splitters tonight. 14 of them were strikes, and 6 of those 14 strikes were whiffs. So, again, the way you measure whiff rate is total swings, so not just swings and misses, but if a ball is put in play, a foul ball, whatever. 13 total swings against the splitter, 6 of them were whiffs, so that's 46%. That is an elite pitch. But furthermore, his four-seam fastball had an elite whiff rate, same exact rate, 6 swings and misses on 13 total swings. His fastball had some serious carry. And you saw, like Willie Adama struck out looking on a fastball in the second inning on a pitch at the knees. And you may be thinking, that was right down the middle. Why isn't he pulling the trigger on that? Well, the reason is the splitter is in the scouting report, and you're taught, okay, if you see a pitch down, if you see a pitch that looks straight that's down, it's probably going to be the splitter, because the whole point of the splitter is to be disguised like a fastball. And because he has great carry, and because that ball held its line all the way at the bottom of the zone, you would expect a little bit of a dip. Maybe it goes below the zone for a ball. Or even furthermore, like we said, Willie was expecting a splitter. But nope. Fastball carry, bottom of the zone, strike 3 called. So I just want to give my kudos to Bryce Miller today as we start breaking down more of this contest. Again, 855-616-1620 if you want to join us tonight. Again, 855-616-1620. Let's get to the phone lines now. Greg in Waukesha, you're live here on Brewers Extra Innings.
Hey, Dom, I love the show.
Thank you.
Absolutely love it. So, hey, I have a question and a possible thought. Why in a close game in the ninth inning, why don't you bring Abner Uribe in, especially because he hasn't been identified as your closer yet? Why not let him prove himself, in a close game and bring Uribe in the, maybe in the, partially, in the eighth inning, but definitely in the ninth inning. Why not bring Uribe in and see what he can do?
I get it, Greg. I've got an easy answer for you here, man. So first of all, he is the closer. I know it hasn't been like, oh gosh, he's announced as a closer. He is the closer. McGill's on the 7-day concussion list. Payamps is velo down a little bit. Uribe is the closer until Devin Williams returns. Number 2, if he pitched today while the team was trailing, that would mean he's probably not available tomorrow, because that would be 3 consecutive days. And quite frankly, the simple rule for managers, don't throw your closer when you're losing, because that's a waste of a day, and you don't get a chance to use him tomorrow. That being said, I know what you're saying. He's not proving he gets experience. I want him pitching with the lead. Of course, the Brewers wanted to give him a lead. He would have pitched the ninth inning if this game was A, tied, or B, the Brewers had the lead. But I do not want to give the ball to my closer with the team trailing, especially on the heels of a back-to-back. But it's a good question. I appreciate you calling in, Greg. Let me get to a couple of questions here on the text line as well. Sal Frelick appears to be struggling. When are we going to see more of Blake Perkins? This is from Mike in Colorado. Mike, we're going to see a lot of Sal. Again, this is a guy that is going to be a cornerstone of this team, and especially without Garrett Mitchell for another few weeks, Sal's going to have to hold down center field. We'll probably see Blake against lefties, and strictly at that. Maybe you give Sal a day here and there, but for him, some guys, April, it's a weekend, you're still getting your eyes back, and after what was such a heavy spring training for him as far as learning third base, and then, your offense kind of becomes secondary to that point, I'm not worried about Sal in the slightest. We're 1 week in. If this continues for like 3 weeks, then we'll revisit this conversation. But I'm not worried about Sal at all. I mean, today he hit a ball hard to right field on the first pitch of the game. That flies out. Grounded out to short. No big deal there. A liner on, he was the only guy that really connected on a splitter today. Got lined out to center and also grounded out to short. So no strikeouts, no swings and misses today. Didn't take any obvious hangers or anything like that. I'm not super worried about Sal Frelick. I'll get to more of these texts again, 855-616-1620. Again, 855-616-1620. We got more to come after this on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Doesn't it seem like you never have anything to wear? That's why I shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. Whether it's a designer top, jeans, an adorable skirt, or cute accessories, I always seem to find something I like. And at prices I love. Gently used women's clothing and accessories for far less than you thought possible. At St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Since 1955, Geist Garage Doors has been the trusted authority in Wisconsin. Hey, it's Greg Matzik. Don't let a busted garage door get you down. Give my friends at Geist a call. Doors and openers for every budget are available, and they'll even build custom designs to meet your exact needs. Check out geistdoors.com or call 262-784-4250. Or do what I did. Check out their amazing showroom in Brookfield featuring hundreds of doors, openers, and their custom design room. Wherever you are in southeast Wisconsin, don't think twice. Call Geist.
Don't think twice. Call Geist.
I'm excited to be joined by my friend Jill Kreider. She is the president of Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Tell me kind of about the mission of Azura.
Our mission is to transform the culture of care, have a secure place, live a quality of life that maybe they don't have currently.
When I'm at an Azura facility, it feels like home.
Having team members that really care about people is number one.
Thank you for what you do for our community. Thank you for what you do for the people that live in the community.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
The wait is over. Brewers baseball returns on April 2nd with opening day against the Twins. The action doesn't stop as the crew hosts the Mariners Friday, April 5th through the 7th. Bring the noise, pack the ballpark, and be here when Brewers action begins. Our story isn't told in winter. It's told on the diamond. Get in on an epic opening week of baseball and grab your seats now at brewers.com/tickets.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Tonight on Brewers Extra Innings, we're going until 10 o'clock here on your home of the Brewers. Want to remind you that Brewers Extra Innings all season long is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank. With the local Milwaukee team, Fifth Third Bank also knows how to hit it out of the park. They've been serving businesses in the area for nearly 15 years, offering industry-specific expertise and local decision-making capabilities. It's going to help your business succeed. This is commercial banking value that only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, member FDIC. Let me get to a few texts. Again, 855-616-1620. Justin in Sun Prairie, a couple of things here. Brewers have scored exactly 3 runs in 4 of 7 games. Not going to get it done. I agree entirely there, Justin. No backlash for me. We know 4 is kind of like that magic number for the Brewers, and they haven't reached it far enough. But again, they're 5-2. It's 1 week of games. I'm not going to overreact. Let's see how this goes once things start getting warmer and the roof is open again. If they're still averaging like 3 runs a game, maybe we'll figure it out. Also, Justin says, one thing not being talked about enough, Willy Adames has only struck out twice in 7 games. Very, very astute observation. Appreciate that, Justin. I agree. Look at yesterday. Goes oppo for a home run, does not strike out against a very good pitcher in Logan Gilbert, and we already explained today's strikeout where he was looking for the splitter and didn't get it. I've really liked Willy's approach so far. Let's see if he can keep that going after 1 week into the season. This one from Doug. Chourio needs to stay in the leadoff spot. He misses out with at-bats. Get him as many at-bats as possible. I am kind of with you there, Doug. I'm curious because if they're willing to bat him leadoff against lefties, why not bat him higher up against righties? But then as I look at this lineup, right, and let's keep operating without Garrett Mitchell in the fold here. I'm not batting him leadoff. Maybe you switch it now that Sal's been off to a slow start. But I don't know where I would put Sal in that regard. If the normal lineup is Sal 1, Contreras 2, Yelich 3, Reese normally 4, Adames 5. Maybe you put him 6, unless you're putting Oliver Dunn there to keep alternating the lefties. I wouldn't mind putting Chourio 6, and then you'd have to get creative because you could have back-to-back lefties there with Dunn and Terang, and then then it wouldn't be Chourio. It would have to be your DH would be batting 9th, which could be Gary, which I don't know if I want Gary batting 9th. So you only bat 9th once. You're going to end up losing maybe about 100 plate appearances if you play the whole season batting 9th, but he is not going to play the whole season batting 9th at this rate. At this point, I want to talk a little bit about DL Hall because there was a lot of discourse about DL Hall on his outing. Was it good? Was it bad? What's up with his velo? Let's start breaking this down a little bit. I understand, and I was somebody who looked at the scouting report, watched that playoff outing, saw what I saw in spring training, and saw 5s and 6s, and in the playoffs we saw 7s and 8s for his fastball velo. What I mean by that is like 5s and 6s as in 95, 96, 7s and 8s, 97, 98, that sort of thing. But now we're seeing 1s, 2s, and 3s. So what's going on? Is there something to be alarmed with there? Remember, this was his 3rd big league start ever. 3rd. So he's learning how to treat his body to be a full-time starter. Yes, he has started in the minor leagues, and there's certainly been experience with that. From what I've gathered from talking to folks in the Orioles organization, he was not sitting 97, 98 as a starter in the minor leagues. He was sitting more 94, 95. The fact that we're at 92, 93 suggests, he's maybe holding back and he's still gaining strength. We are still early in the season. The one thing I want to observe with his fastball is making sure he maintains velocity or gains velocity. If we come mid-May and he's starting to pop some 89s and 90s, that's when I'm going to put up a cause for alarm. I am not doing that in the slightest at this point. All of that being said, a lot of folks are saying, wait a minute, he's got to be effective. He's got to be sitting 97 in order to be effective in the big leagues. I completely disagree with that statement. Here's why. His command with his secondary stuff has not quite clicked yet. He threw a few really good changeups today. The Orioles were not a fan of his curveball, even though arguably it was his best pitch coming out of high school in Valdosta, Georgia. They incorporated more of a tighter slider, which is still a great pitch. We saw a few more curveballs today, but if you go to your Baseball Savant and you go to the illustrator from today's game and you just go ahead and pick the slider, the changeup, well, let's just go ahead and go with the slider and the curveball. When I look at all of those pitches and where they are in the zone, it's not really that competitive. There's a few pitches that are down the middle, but nothing really in the shadow of the zone. A lot of visible pitches, right? He hasn't really been able to disguise his slider with his fastball, nor has he been able to, back foot his curve effectively enough. Or he'll throw curveballs as get-me-overs, but not really as out pitches. So that's something I'm really curious to see if he can get that breaking stuff to where it should be to be a more effective secondary pitch. When I look at his usage from today's game, just as far as total pitches in today's game, 90 total pitches, almost half of them were fastballs. I would like to see a little more variety there. I would like to see maybe, let's lower that to 40%. And then see maybe a 20, 25% curveball rate, maybe a 15 to 18% slider rate, and you can keep the changeup at 20%, and you're going to be good. He saw a couple of lefties today. He saw J.P. Crawford, but then only one lefty, I should say, because there are 2 switch hitters in this lineup. And then Luke Raley came into the game after he had exited. I thought DL Hall was fine today. In that 3rd inning, in which he allowed 5 hits, all singles. Only one of them was hit over 95 miles an hour. A bunch of seeing-eye singles. In fact, of all 7 hits he allowed, they were all singles. 6 of them legitimate singles, one of them a bunt single. It was Buzzard's luck, in my opinion. I thought he was getting weak contact. He was getting ahead. I mean, he only walked 2 guys today, and it was the same guy, Dylan Moore. And to that, I say he got ambushed back in the 2nd inning, and he started to be cautious with him the rest of the game. He got 5 strikeouts, and aside from that 3rd inning, he pitched great. The ball was rarely being elevated. There was nothing hit hard really against him today. And again, this was his 3rd big league start. We are at the very beginning of this. Remember the very beginning of Freddie. Remember the very beginning of Corbin Burns. there is a lot to learn to be a big league pitcher. And it's not like you sprinkle your magic pixie dust, Chris Hook and Jim Henderson and everybody in the pitching lab, and boom, he's a Brewer ace. It doesn't work like that. Look at Burns in 19 and 20, man. He had to go and work on it, okay? We all knew Corbin had the stuff. We all know DL Hall has the stuff. Now it's time to refine and develop. It's going to take time. That's what this season is for, to grow and to develop. Of course the Brewers want to be competitive. They expect to be competitive, and I think they will be competitive. But let's be honest. Let's look ahead. Let's get ahead of ourselves a little bit here in 2025. I know we're a week into the season, but look, Brandon Woodruff will return in 2025. You would imagine DL Hall is ready to take a step forward. You'll still have Freddie Peralta in the mix. Maybe Jacob Mizorowski is ready to be the next guy to start taking that development and refinement. Guys like Carlos Rodriguez will be in the fold. Guys like, you can go down, like Tobias Myers could be in the big league bullpen. There's a lot of new wave coming here. This is meant to be the year to figure out, okay, DL Hall, we're going to give you every opportunity to be a starter, face a lineup multiple times, and see what you can do. I was very, very pleased with today. I mean, if he had completed that 6th inning, right? 6 innings, 3 hits against a team that has playoff aspirations. Excuse me, 6 innings, 3 runs, not 3 hits. 6 innings, 3 runs. That's a quality start. And say what you want to say about a quality start against a playoff caliber team like the Seattle Mariners. Sign me up for that right now in his 3rd ever big league start. I was very happy with what DL Hall did today. 855-616-1620. Again, 855-616-1620. Let's shift gears over to the offense coming up in the next segment. Of course, a lot coming in here about Gary Sanchez, a lot talking about, the levers of Pat Murphy and the pinch hitting, and then we'll also get into a little bit of bullpen there as well. So stay with us. We're going all the way till 10 o'clock tonight, 855-616-1620, right here in your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
On deck, more Brewers Extra Innings.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus audio network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. The Army National Guard responds to disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
We asked people why they sold their homes to Grandview Homes instead of using a real estate agent.
Everything they say in their ads is true and then some. A very fair price, no real estate agent fees or closing costs. They even switched the utilities out of your name.
Within weeks, we had closed and couldn't be happier.
Whether you have a hard-to-sell home, want a stress-free sale, or simply need to sell your home fast, Grandview Homes is the name you know and the name you can trust. Visit GrandviewHomes.com to discover the easiest and fastest way to sell a home.
Siding Unlimited, named the best window installers, not just here, but in the whole USA. Get the best. Siding Unlimited, 3-time winner as America's best window installer. For windows, you call Siding Unlimited first and directly. SidingUnlimited.com.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. And visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. If you're like me, my home has become my happy place. It's happier now thanks to CertaPro painters. They are simply the best in the business. They will take care of the scuffs, the faded colors. They'll make your home a new home, inside or outside. They did the work at our house. It was quick, easy, and so affordable. Their estimates are always easy. You get a quote right away. It's simply the best in the business. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro painters.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Big theme coming out of the session with Pat Murphy and with the media is that he has full trust in Hobie Milner and Bryce Wilson. And before we get ahead of ourselves here, Brewers fall tonight by a final of 5-3. I'm Dominic Cotroneo. Bryce looked great tonight the home run was really the only blemish. I thought Bryce looked great. He came in, struck out the first 3 batters, 1, 2, 3, 7th. Obviously gave up the homer to Polanco, who was signed to the Mariners to hit homers. Yes, he had then walk the next batter. Haniger got out of the rest of the inning. He struck out 5 in 2 1/3 innings. It was a bullpen saver effort for him tonight. And then Hobie Milner obviously gave up the home run to Luis Urias. I know he has confidence in him, but I want to break down that decision real quick. I know we saw Thiago Vieira up earlier. I think Thiago would have come in if it was 4-0 or 5-0 or something like that. The fact that the game was suddenly within reach, kind of like what Greg was calling it about in the first segment. Why not go to Uribe there? You're not going to go to your closer, but you still want to go to one of your better relievers. And look, Hobie's been off to a cold start. Gave up the home run in New York against the Mets to Brett Beatty. Now gives up the home run today to Luis Urias. I'm not going to overreact to spring training stats. Didn't have a great spring. Also gave up a run against Minnesota the other day. So I'm just monitoring Hobie Milner right now. And again, Bryce Wilson's a guy that's meant to be a bullpen saver, not necessarily a guy that's going to get outs. Remember, Bryce entered the game when they were down 4-0. Okay, so let's not overreact to like, oh my gosh, this guy blew it. No, he came in down 4-0. I thought Bryce pitched great today. Let's also talk a little bit about Gary Sanchez. Gary, 0 for 4 today, still looking for his first Brewers hit. He's 0 for 11. One thing I fear with the Gary Sanchez signing is Gary's always been a guy that's virtually been close to a 2/3 of a day player. What I mean by that is he's going to play like 100 to 120 games and get consistent ABs. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that as Reese continues to get his eyes back and get his health back, because they've had him at DH more than I expected in this first week of games. Maybe that'll level out as the season goes on. But if Gary's not going to be able to get consistent DH at bats and be able to continually get his eyes there, I worry about his offense. I truly do. He's a professional hitter, and he tears the cover off the ball. His underlying metrics, and I know a lot of folks don't give a darn about how hard he hits the ball if it's an out. I get that. I think with Gary, again, we're 1 week in. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But at the same time, you can feel like, wait a minute, I thought this guy was supposed to hit. I think he is due, and they will find a way to get him going. I wonder, especially in this coming week, right? You're in the middle. Today was game 2 of 13 in a row. How many more games in this 13 in a row is he going to catch? 1 or 2 more? How many of those games is he going to DH, right? So if we've got 11 games left in this 13 in a row, let's count him in for 2 days for sure catching. So like the day game after a night game coming up on Thursday of next week, and then maybe Sunday on the getaway day. And then maybe 2 more DHs, so that's 4 games. That's 16 more at-bats over these next 11 days. Is that enough for him? That's an honest question, and the Brewers are going to have to figure that out here as the season goes along. I know a lot of folks are saying, well, Eric Haas had such an amazing spring. He's a proven defender. I know that Sanchez had a pass ball today. I see it with Haas. Again, I'm never going to overreact to spring training stats, but he did everything he was supposed to do. And sometimes life ain't fair. Maybe we still see Haas at some point this year. You never know. There's always things that pop up. The Brewers went all year last year with only 2 catchers. I'd be shocked if they're able to do it again. but we'll see what happens. We're a weekend. I'm not going to overreact. This text from Ricky in Honey Creek. I'm not going to read all of it here, Ricky, but I disagree with a lot of it, especially with Hoskins can't get a hit with the bases loaded and one out. He just hit a sac fly, and he drove in a run off the bench on the first pitch he saw. I don't know what you want, man. He was 10 yards away from a grand slam and maybe the most epic moment already of the season. Miss me with that. I completely disagree. We can go eye to eye on Gary having a slow start, absolutely. But no, come on. We're not going to overreact to Rhys Hoskins. Remember, Rhys missed an entire season of baseball. That's not a little thing, okay? And I think we've kind of downplayed it because he's healthy, because he's playing defense. That's not a small thing that he missed an entire season of getting reps, getting his eye on baseball, breaking ball, spin, that sort of thing. And the fact that he's been as advanced as he is so far, we are so early in this, 7 games in at 5-2. I'm not going to overreact to any of that sort of thing. Other things down the box score here for the Brewers. William Contreras in his first game as DH, 2 for 3, a double, a single, also a walk and run scored. Loved seeing that from Wild Bill on the day that he received his Silver Slugger award as well. So that was a fun moment pregame as well. Bottom of the order, very quiet today. Oliver Dunn, Jake Bowers, Gary, Terang, Churio, they all combined for 2 hits, and only Terang and Churio had the hits. Terang with the single right before Churio's homer, so they did not manage anything against the starter, Bryce Miller. Also in today's game, I really thought that the Brewers just, you look at it, that third inning, 5 hits, 5 singles, 4 of them seeing-eye singles and 1 bunt. They turned a key double play when they needed to stop the bleeding and keep it at 3-0. But they couldn't do anything when the leadoff man got on today. A leadoff double in the 4th with William Contreras. Yelly flied out. Adames pulled a ground ball. Not good baseball there. And then Dunn struck out on 3 pitches. Or in the 7th inning, 3rd time through the order, Willie led off with a soft single to center. Then Dunn flew out to left. Bowers popped out. Sanchez popped out. I thought that was a massive moment in the game in that 7th inning. That you got your leadoff man on. Maybe this guy's on the ropes. Remember, Miller, he matched a career high with 7 innings pitched tonight. He had never gone beyond the 7th inning, so you knew this was going to be it for him, and the Brewers could not make him pay in this one. But, hey, you're not going to win them all. The quest for 160-2 is still on. It's going to be okay. It's just a loss. $35,000 in the house. Fun night at the ballpark. They'll rebound and get right back to it tomorrow. As we've been breaking down the game and thinking about what's going to come next to the Brewers and going for the series win tomorrow, let's hear from the manager, Pat Murphy, coming up on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
W277CV and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, where reputation matters and character counts. Veteran-owned and operated. Go to SemperFiRoofing.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Here's why you can feel confident in choosing Less's Glass to fabricate and install your new shower door or glass bath enclosure. For over 40 years, we've done thousands of them. And when you want a new and modern aesthetic added to your bathroom, you want a crew with experience behind it. We fabricate new shower doors or bath enclosures to fit any space of your bathroom, all done in-house, and that's great for quality control. It could be a neo-angle shower stall, a corner enclosure, a bypass for your tub or shower, or a heavy 3/8-inch all-glass enclosure. Any idea you have, framed or frameless, we can handle it. And when you work with a family-owned company, the buck stops here, because we're not satisfied until you are. This is Stacy Sinks with Less's Glass Service. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Less's Glass. Less's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
Siding Unlimited, named the best window installers, not just here, but in the whole USA. Get the best. Siding Unlimited, 3-time winner as America's best window installer. For windows, you call Siding Unlimited. First and directly, sidingunlimited.com.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. I've got a great trip coming up this Christmas. I want you to be with us. It's Magical Christmas Markets. 5 nights in Innsbruck, the capital of the Alps. We'll take in a horse-drawn carriage ride, make traditional strudel, and spend lots of time shopping in beautiful, historic Christmas markets throughout Europe. It is going to be special, hunting for those treasures. I've got a beautiful brochure. I'll send it to you. Shoot me an email, john.mercure@WTMJ.com. John.mercure, MERCURE at WTMJ.com. Magical Christmas Markets this December. Won't you come with us?
Change the way you do business and take more control of the payment process with Fifth Third Bank's Treasury Management Solutions. Their market expertise and managed services streamline the entire payment process and integrate with your existing systems, giving you more control than ever. With their suite of payment solutions, you will soon recognize new revenue sources that can save time, offset operating costs, and improve the bottom line, all customized for your business. Fifth Third Bank National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
Extra Innings presented by Fifth Third Bank on WTMJ.
Welcome back. It's a short Pat Murphy segment today. We had trouble ripping it from Bally Sports Wisconsin. They had some technical difficulties on their side of things. So he opens up talking a lot about DL Hall today, and here's what Pat Murphy had to say about that.
Speaking of disappointed, DL Hall, it was kind of like death by a million paper cuts in that long third inning, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was really pleased with DL. I thought he threw the ball great. There was 5 potential outs there, you know what I mean? And that's a great lineup over there, you know what I mean? Like, look at that lineup 1 through whatever it is. That's a great lineup. And I thought DL battled and was great, and he was very, the leadoff bunt is just a great execution by the kid. And then the blooper into left, you can't do anything about it. It happens. We get our share of bloopers. And then 3 straight ground balls that got through, and some of them were hit well. So, but still, he didn't panic. He stayed with it. I thought him and Gary Sanchez, behind the scenes, I thought Gary Sanchez did a great job first day catching. I thought he controlled the tempo. I was really pleased with Gary. Made a great throw to throw a guy out. Terang, great tag. And, the kid pitched great for them. He was great. Really was. Strikes anytime was really, really good. I'm not going to criticize our offensive approach. It's early in the season. We've got 4 guys that are basically rookies in there, and some guys that, are just getting started. But
just getting started. You heard it from the man right there. Sorry for it being so short tonight, but let me look at some of the decisions tonight, and I talked about it earlier about Hobie and Bryce being in this game. Let me break down that Hobie decision. So, 9th inning, you're down by a run. It's 4-3, and you look at it, you have Urias, a righty, Raley, a lefty, Crawford, a lefty, due up in the inning. And again, you're down by a run. Brian Hudson pitched yesterday, and we're 1 week into the season. I'm not having him go back-to-back. Hobie Milner is available. And you can sit there and look, okay, the challenge, air quotes there, is Luis Urias. And I'm not trying to, knock Urias here, but this is a spot that Hobie Milner expects to get out. I mean, he was fine last season against right-handed pitchers. I'm pulling up his splits right now. They're right-handed hitters. Righties hit 256, lefties hit 155, but 256 is still very good, and only a 682 OPS, still very, very good. I trust Hobie Milner in that situation, and it failed with Luis Urias. Maybe there's something to be considered, the former teammate thing and that sort of thing, but that kind of thing is like, hey, do your job, get the guy out. He's more likely to get out than he is to hit a home run, and then he hit a home run. Because you got 2 lefties following up, and he wasn't going to pinch hit Luke Raley because that would have emptied his bench, and he's definitely not going to pinch hit J.P. Crawford. So you know that Hobie is going to face 2 lefties. And the challenge was going to be Luis Urias to make it, make sure you get there. However, then you can counter that by saying, wait a minute, he had J.B. Bukowskis already up, ready to go in case Julio Rodriguez came up, which is exactly what happened. He went to Bukowskis to face Rodriguez. And then you're saying, well, wait a minute, Dom, why not bring in the righty Bukowskis to face Urias, have him deal with the two lefties, Luke Raley and J.P. Crawford, so that if the inning extends, you get Julio. I prefer Hobie because he's done it before and the experience that he has. That's what Pat Murphy said in the extended comments today that you weren't unfortunately able to hear. He said you can't ignore the body of work that got him here. If this becomes a trend for Hobie, we will revisit. But in my opinion, we're going to continue to monitor this. It's not been a great start for Hobie Milner. That being said, having Brian Hudson there to help out as another lefty is going to be huge for this team. And the way that he has started his Brewers career has certainly shown signs that he can really be a massive piece of this team moving forward. Furthermore, with the Bryce Wilson decision, I already explained it earlier, but I'll say it again. Bryce was great aside from one pitch, the hanging curveball to Polanco. Otherwise, I thought he was fantastic today. And a reminder, in that eighth inning, the Brewers were already down 3-0, and that made it 4-0. So he was already down. Yes, it made it 4-0, but the offense wasn't really doing much today. I think today is more about the offense than it is about the pitching staff, in my opinion. Not that we're, oh my gosh, change everything now because it's only April 6th. But I just refuse to get ahead of myself here and say, oh my gosh, Bryce came in with the team trailing. It's not like the Brewers never got the lead back, never tied it. So let it breathe. It's all good. Try to get back after it tomorrow. Looking around the big league scoreboard today, most games have gone final. Just a few games out west still happening right now. Rangers beat the Astros again, 7-2 the final there. The Astros are off to a 2-7 start. Very interesting. And those two teams play each other a lot here in April, so this could be a huge tiebreaker type monitoring situation for that. The Yankees hang on to beat the Blue Jays in a wild game in the Bronx, 9-8 out there. The Royals over the White Sox, 3-0. That's 3 in a row for Kansas City. The Braves, they came back to beat the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks are having some rough go of it in their bullpen right now, given they don't have Paul Sewald. He's got an oblique strain right now. Jake Jarvis and Luis Frias struggled in that one for their bullpen. They lose to the Braves 9-8. And speaking of the Braves, I don't know if you saw the news today, but the maybe Cy Young favorite for the National League, Spencer Strider, has damage in his UCL, the ulnar collateral ligament, the ligament that lets you throw a baseball. He is seeing Dr. Keith Meister in Arlington, Texas. He is sort of kind of the new go-to guy for anything elbow related. Him, Dr. Neil Elatrash out in Los Angeles. Those are two of the main guys right now. And if you're going to see Dr. Meister, it's not a good sign. And could be seeing his second Tommy John surgery. So big news out there for the National League for the Braves. Marlins lose again. They're 0-9 to start the year. Cardinals beat them 3-1. Pirates walk it off with O'Neal Cruz in extras over the Orioles. 5-4 the final there. They're 7-2. The Brewers are now 5-2. The Dodgers beat the Cubs down at Wrigley. 4-1 the final there. Reds all over the Mets. 9-6 final. And the A's over the Tigers 4-0. The game's in action right now in Colorado. Wacky one at Coors, 6-6 in the top of the eighth. The Rays and the Rockies. Padres leading the Giants. They've faced each other a ton here in the first 2 weeks. The Padres up 4-0 in the bottom of the seventh. And the Red Sox are out to a 1-0 lead over the Angels in the bottom of the fourth at the Big A. Up next, we'll play some highlights. Recap this one as the Brewers fall by a final of 5-3. Still got some comments, 855-616-1620 if you're still with us, 855-616-1620 if you're still with us. Stay with us, WTMJ.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard of the Swiss Army knife?
Sure.
Of course. Behold, I present the Swiss Army bed.
That's the Symmetry Bedroom Collection from Penny Mustard.
You can't just give it another name.
But my favorite pocket knife inspired this design.
Well, the Symmetry Bedroom does have everything.
That's what I'm talking about.
A bookcase headboard with built-in lighting.
Deep, full extension drawers for underbed storage.
A gorgeous two-tone stain option.
And mysterious secret compartments to stash the family jewels.
You're right. The Symmetry Bedroom is a lot like a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, the only thing missing is a corkscrew.
Darn, I knew I forgot something.
The Symmetry Bedroom with queen bookcase headboard, underbed storage, 8-drawer dresser, landscape mirror, and 3-drawer nightstand, starting at $65.50 at Penny Mustard.
And see our selection of sophisticated mattresses.
Get a flippable mattress with foam that is matchless.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
When you see our selection of gently worn brand name girls and women's clothing, you'll love what you find, and you'll love the prices. So low that you won't believe your eyes. At St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, you'll find something cute, maybe a whole new outfit, for so much less. Gently worn brand name clothing at far below retail. You're gonna love it. On Highway 100 at Layton and Greenfield, and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. I've got a great trip coming up this Christmas. I want you to be with us. It's Magical Christmas Markets. 5 nights in Innsbruck, the capital of the Alps. We'll take in a horse-drawn carriage ride, make traditional strudel, and spend lots of time shopping in beautiful, historic Christmas markets throughout Europe. It is going to be special, hunting for those treasures. I've got a beautiful brochure. I'll send it to you. Shoot me an email, john.mercure@WTMJ.com. John.Mercure, MERCURE at WTMJ.com. Magical Christmas Markets. This December. Won't you come with us?
New residential, commercial, or multifamily construction? Call Quality Heating before you begin. Starting a new remodel? Pre-planning any new construction with a qualified HVAC design engineer assures your comfort will be at its maximum. Because the last thing you want your new project to be is uncomfortable. This is Anthony Zanevsky with Quality Heating. From Sheboygan to Illinois, to Madison and all of greater southeastern Wisconsin, the man in the red van can give you a master plan.
Quality heating, quality heating.
Her bedroom in back was always warm, while the one in front was as cold as an igloo. She asked me what she should do, and I told her, Mary, zoning will solve your issue. At Quality Heating, the man in the red van knows how to even out your home's temperature and take care of humidity or lack thereof. Heck, you spend most of your life there. Why not maximize its comfort? This is Anthony Zanevsky. Ask the man in the red van about zoned heating and cooling ideas for your home.
You gotta see the man in the red van. Quality heating, quality heating.
And this? Time for tonight's highlights. Here's Dominic Catronio.
Highlights for the Brew Crew, or they showed up later in this one. Mariners, Brewers, Game 2 of a 3-game series. DL Hall going up against Bryce Miller. Both pitchers got off to good starts. First 2 innings, not much happening there. Then in the third, death by 1,000 cuts all of a sudden against DL Hall. It all began with a bunt single by Samad Taylor. Then a bloop single by J.P. Crawford. Julio Rodriguez grounding one up the middle to score the game's first run. Then Jorge Polanco grounded into a fielder's choice to get the first out of the inning, but that also brought home a run. It's all of a sudden 2-0, and a ball really hasn't been hit hard at all. Mitch Haniger followed with another single. That put runners on the corners, and Mitch Garver was at the plate.
The 3-0 is a ground ball hit to third. It's off the glove of Dunn and into left of base hit. They'll go from first to third again, and it's 3-0. RBI single by Mitch Garver.
It was a diving attempt by Dunn over to his left, and it ricocheted far enough away from really that there wasn't going to be a play. However, the next batter, Cal Raleigh, did bounce into a double play, which ended the inning, and DL Hall had to throw 25 pitches, gassed in the third inning. However, the Brewers' offense was really stymied today by Bryce Miller. He had himself one of his best career outings, 7 shutout innings. He only allowed 3 hits, no runs, of course, 1 walk, and also 7 strikeouts. His fastball splitter combination had the Brewers guessing all night. Of his 7 strikeouts, 4 of them on the splitter, 3 of them on the fastball. But now we fast forward to the 8th inning. Miller is out of the game. A leadoff single by Bryce Terang off of Austin Voth. And the new young kid, I guess the 2024 version of the kid, Jackson Chourio.
This one hit in the air to left and deep. Get up! Get up! Get out of here and gone for Chourio. And the Brewers have cut it in half on his second big league home run. He hit it out of here and left. And it's now a 4-2 game.
Bob Uecker on the call here on WTMJ, and the Brewers weren't done in the frame. A one-out walk drawn by Contreras chased Voth. They brought in the lefty Gabe Spire to face Yelich. However, he would walk Yelich, and he would walk Adames. So Pat Murphy would go to his bench. Rhys Hoskins was not starting the game, and he was ready to jump at the first pitch he saw in his first at-bat as a pinch hitter since 2022.
Here it is. Hit in the air. Left and deep. Warning track. Didn't get enough. One run's going to score. It'll make it 4-3 on a sac fly. Almost.
Joey Ortiz would come off the bench next as a pinch hitter, and he was not able to get the job done to tie the game. They trailed 4-3, and then the backbreaker in the top of the 9th. Luis Urias lined a home run into the Brewers' bullpen to make it a 5-3 game, and then Andres Munoz had the bottom of the 9th inning, and he looked like the regular Andres Munoz, not the guy we saw last night.
And the pitch to him, swing and a miss, struck him out, low inside sinker, and ate him up on the inside, and Seattle evens the series. Final tonight. Mariners 5, Brewers 3.
Can't win them all, but hey, you can go 160-2. The winning pitcher is Bryce Miller, the loser, DL Hall, the save to Munoz. We'll preview tomorrow's game and get you ready to go right here in your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
All Brewers games are on sale now. Get your tickets for an action-packed 2024 Brewers season now. That's any game you want, any way you want. All season, featuring brand new giveaways, brand new theme nights and community nights, can't miss ticket deals, and all the season's best Brewers action. Make sure you're here for every moment. Check out the complete schedule and grab your seats now at brewers.com/tickets.
The historic Fox & Hound Supper Club is hiring positive, upbeat bartenders. You'll make great cash. New expo and food runners are also valued. Parents and grandparents, tell your kids. Inquire today. Start next week. Visit foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
Each day there's a sliver of time when you can almost breathe freely. And you feel better when you can. But you know that eventually that sliver of time closes, along with your nose. It puts a damper on your day every day. So you pop a pill or you take a spray to try to get that relief back. But it's always short-lived. And all the while in your efforts to give yourself relief, you may be making your nasal breathing problems worse. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and a simple in-office procedure from Advent called balloon sinuplasty could be the fast and convenient answer to your breathing triangle problems. Advent has been a leader in this procedure, which can be hard to find elsewhere. It's simple, there's little to no downtime, and it really can be life-changing.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community and also the Army National Guard. Soldiers trained to keep the power flowing, engines running, and in every other trade needed to accomplish the mission. These soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to Brewers Extra Innings, presented by Fifth Third Bank on WTMJ.
All right, final segment. Getting ready to say goodbye for the evening. Previewing tomorrow's coverage here on WTMJ. I'll be on the air at noon with Brewers warm-up. Then we'll go to the bottom of the hour to give it to the network at 12:35. for a 1:10 first pitch against the Mariners. Rubber game tomorrow. It'll be Emerson Hancock, a right-hander, against Colin Ray, also a right-hander for the Brew Crew. Again, 1:10 first pitch tomorrow as network coverage begins at 12:35. I begin at noon on the flagship, and we will have another Brewers Extra Innings tomorrow as Jerry Augustine will be joining us. I won't be flying solo tomorrow as we close out this first homestand of the season, and then the Brewers will be heading on the road and a longer trip this week, a 4-game set against the Cincinnati Reds, and then a weekend 3-game series with the Baltimore Orioles from Camden Yards. And I've said this for a while. I'll say it again. If you've never seen Camden Yards, it should be at the top of your list as far as stadiums to see. Absolutely love it. Quite frankly, it's on the same level for me as like a Fenway, as like a Wrigley, as like a Dodger Stadium, you know, those classics, because I think Camden Yards is going to age so, so beautifully. I love that place so, so much. So it'll be a 7-game road trip. Then they're right back here for a quick 3-gamer at home against the San Diego Padres before their next off day on the 18th. So 11 in a row. They're in the middle of 13 in a row. And then they get the next off day, then another 13 in a row, off day, 13 in a row, and then the off days start to come a little bit more frequent after that. Another thing about the rotation coming up this week, again, Ray is going tomorrow, but then on Monday it is expected to be Joe Ross, and then sliding into Jacob Junis' spot, it would be, not Joe Ross on Monday, I beg your pardon, but rather it would be Jacob Junis' spot on Monday, which will now be occupied by Aaron Ashby because he was activated today or called up from AAA Nashville. Junis was placed on the injured list. Then Joe Ross would go on Tuesday. And maybe, just maybe, Wade Miley returns on Wednesday against the Cincinnati Reds as they go into a 6-man rotation for the next couple of weeks. Now we'll put Freddie on the day game on Thursday in the getaway day against the Reds, and then back to DL Hall next Friday against the O's, and that would line up against his former team. So something to keep an eye on and how things unfold this week. Looking forward to tomorrow's rubber matchup. Should be a lot of fun at the ballpark. I'm not going to have the roof open quite yet, but man, we're getting closer. It was great to see the sunshine today and a 35,000-plus crowd here at the ballpark, and these awesome Giannis jerseys from our teammates over at 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee. A really, really cool giveaway item. Hope you got your hands on one of those. So again, we're back to normal now. I won't miss another show until June, so my thanks again to Greg Matzik for filling in for me yesterday. I was officiating my best friend's wedding back home in Arizona, so that was a really fun day to be in. I missed a fun one, and today I got a dud. So, hey, it is what it is. It's my fault. You can blame it on me. It's no big deal. All right, we'll close out the homestand tomorrow. Then it's on to Cincinnati. We're on to Cincinnati, as Bill Belichick said, coming up Monday. And we will have another Brewers Extra Innings for you live after the game tomorrow right here on your flagship home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ. For Tim Shea, our producer, and our thanks to everybody who's listened, called in, and texted in, I'm Dominic Cotroneo. Thank you again for listening. Tonight, the Brewers fall by a final of 5-3. Until next time, keep on swinging.
I'll say it again. Our mission is to protect and uphold our reputation. And what that means is wherever we go, we make it better for those in need of our services and the great people we have working with us. Our reputation matters. It matters to us, and it should matter to you. We believe that operating with integrity will set us apart from our competitors, and that this attracts people to us that share these same values. I say this because I want you to know when you work with Semper Fi, character counts. It's why you can count on the industry's hands-down best lifetime workmanship warranty that now includes free annual inspections. And it's why we always have one project manager per job, which is absolutely not the industry standard. When you're paying for a brand new roof to go on what's likely the biggest investment you have, you want it done right, and you want to be able to count on the people doing it. This is Brad Youngwith with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
Keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
What's the difference between a flag and a bath towel? Both are made of material, but one is also invested with deep meaning. The material and the meaning go together. Dr. Michael Ziegler says that also describes the connection between earth and heaven.
Ended its about 2-week raid on Gaza's largest hospital. A UN convoy and other aid groups have gotten in, finding the entire medical complex destroyed. UN humanitarian aid official Jonathan Whittle.
Shifa has literally become a graveyard. There are bodies still in this courtyard.
Israeli officials say Hamas used hospitals for bases of operations. Criticizing the investigation by the Israeli military into the World Central Kitchen relief workers killed in an Israeli airstrike, founder, chef Jose Andres.
I want to thank, obviously, the IDF for doing such a quick investigation. But at the same time, I would say something so complicated, the investigation should be much more deeper. And I would say that the perpetrator cannot be investigating himself.
Chef Andres on ABC's This Week, the full interview Sunday. On the 4th day of her trip to China to ease tensions and help American businesses, this in Beijing from Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen.
Well, we have more to do. I believe that over the past year, we've put our bilateral relationship on a more stable footing.
People are now warned by federal health officials to try to avoid getting bird flu, especially anybody who's been in contact with birds or livestock. It comes after the first known instance of a human catching bird flu from cattle. ABC's M. Wynn.
The CDC says some symptoms could be mild, like eye redness or discharge, cough, sore throat, and or fever. And the agency says that patients could also be experiencing more severe symptoms like difficulty breathing, confusion, or seizure.
Health experts say stay away from undercooked eggs or raw milk, but generally eating meat and dairy won't give you bird flu. Millions of bags of liquid laundry detergent pods are being recalled in the U.S. and Canada. Tide, Gain, Ace, and Ariel. A defect in the childproof packaging can too easily let kids get at them. You're listening to ABC News.
The Omaha Steaks semi-annual sale is here. Get 50% off site-wide and save on mouth-watering favorites today. Go to omahasteaks.com and shop the semi-annual sale where you can load up on all the delicious flavor you crave at half the price. And when you use promo code QUALITY at checkout, you'll get an extra $30 off your order. Save big on delicious, tender, juicy steaks, big, beefy burgers, and so much more. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code QUALITY at checkout. Minimum purchase may apply.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Tax season scams from ABC News business correspondent Alexis Christoforous.
Your best defense is to come up with your own account on irs.gov, create your own account, and file your taxes as soon as possible. I know we're up against it now and the deadline's just around the corner, but for future reference, because we have so much information about us on the web, the dark web, but also just out there in general. Our faces, our names, our birth dates, and they can come up with a persona around that.
Trying to prevent wildfires, a utility is shutting power off across suburbs and foothills west of Denver because of high winds. ABC News forecaster Denny Beckstrom.
While there could be a few severe storms in the plains, the bigger concern unfolds Monday, with large hail being the main threat for the crowds of people traveling home after the eclipse. Those storms likely keeping clouds in play along the path of totality in Texas and much of the South, with better viewing conditions from Illinois to Indiana and New England.
Letitia Ferrer of North Texas chases eclipses at events for kids to generate interest in science.
It's just such a feeling in my soul that I'm so grateful to be there and so happy to see it, enough that I'm sort of addicted to them. I'm addicted to that feeling of that being that for those few seconds or minutes, being one with the universe and being really present and feeling it.
The world's oldest man says the secret to his long life is luck, moderation, and fish and chips every Friday. In England, John Tinniswood is 111, confirmed oldest by Guinness Records. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
The Omaha Steaks semi-annual sale is here. Get 50% off site-wide and save on mouth-watering favorites today. Go to omahasteaks.com and shop the semi-annual sale where you can load up on all the delicious flavor you crave at half the price. And when you use promo code QUALITY at checkout, you'll get an extra $30 off your order. Save big on delicious, tender, juicy steaks, big, beefy burgers, and so much more. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code QUALITY at checkout. Minimum purchase may apply.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Julian Johnson. Both a bomb threat and a bank robbery happening at the same time in Pleasant Prairie Saturday afternoon. Pleasant Prairie Police Department receiving a bomb threat report at a Costco on 94th Avenue around 12:30 p.m. Authorities evacuated the building and secured the surrounding area. No explosives were found on the scene, and police say there were no active threats to the public. Simultaneously, a Chase Bank was robbed on 39th Avenue. The suspected robber is an adult male between 40 to 50 years old, 5'10", with blue eyes, and wore all black during the incident. No one was injured. Anyone with information should contact Pleasant Prairie Dispatch Center. The Pleasant Prairie Detective Bureau is actively investigating the incident. Problems for financial